We're back for another ATC Rewind. This is round 9 of Season 1 at Indianapolis Road Course. Last week, 17 cars at Road Atlanta. This week, 7 cars, which is tied for the lowest, the smallest grid all time for the series. It's a 1-hour endurance race. And the grid, Logan McKenzie on pole, and then Slug, Cox, DeJoe, Bowman, Gardner, and Camilleri. That is the entire grid. And McKenzie, you see them go by there. McKenzie currently leads them around. And this is the old Indy layout. So this particular section they're going through right here, quite tight compared to the modern layout. Oh no! Oh no! And Wiley Cox has spun out on the pace lap. So Wiley Cox crashes out. He suffers actually terminal damage and has to tow. So he has returned to his pit box there. We await the green flag here. The safety car pulls off. 6 cars, really 5.5 cars, lead us to the green flag here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Logan McKenzie on the right, the Slug on the left, battling for the lead all the way down to turn number 1. Oh, and it looks like the Slug may go around him right here at the start of this race, side by side. He's just barely kept the nose in there, McKenzie. And now he has the preferred line through here, but only for a moment. The Slug trying to hold it around the outside, and he's going to do a good job of that. And he will be into the lead from the front row to the front. McKenzie may come back at him. Going for the crossover move here onto this sort of middle straight. I suppose you could consider this the back straight. Will McKenzie look to the left? No, he will not. And the Slug gets the turn in, stays in the lead. JB DeJoe hanging on to the back of these guys for now. And then it's Bowman, Camilleri, Gardner, and Cox. And Cox is on the road. He's just a bit of a ways back. So here come the leaders through the final 2 corners of the track, and this is all high-speed stuff. And look at this, McKenzie has gotten a nose in there, and the Slug actually going up onto the banking. This is going to be interesting. McKenzie's going to have a big run down to turn number 1. A lot of slipstream. Can the Slug hold on to this lead? He defends to the right. He takes McKenzie all the way to the pit wall as he leads the first lap. But here we go, down to turn number 1. It'll be McKenzie on the outside line. And the Slug pulls to the right, stays alongside. DeJoe is looking for a move on McKenzie now through all this. And McKenzie and the Slug all come together. DeJoe makes contact on the inside. DeJoe into the lead. McKenzie goes through. The Slug falls out into the gravel trap, ends up outside the track, and now he has some ground to make up. He is 3.3 seconds off of JB DeJoe, who now leads this race. And I'm not sure JB DeJoe has led a race before. So he's looking to get a bonus point locked in for leading a lap. We're on board with McKenzie, and you'll see just how tight this particular section is. And I think you could say that crash was probably McKenzie's fault, really trying to stick a nose in when DeJoe was already trying to attack, and it created a sort of weird 3-wide situation that resulted in the Slug being sent far off course. But for now, DeJoe in the lead. The Slug has already taken some time back out of it, but he will lead a lap. So we come to lap 3 here in Indianapolis, 57 minutes to go. So McKenzie has caught Dejoux out of the last corner. He'll be on the left side here again. And the slug now 2 seconds back. So McKenzie trying to get out in front as quickly as possible. Dejoux breaks early. Did McKenzie break too late? Nope, he makes the apex and he is into the lead. And now he's going to have to try and open as much of a gap as possible. And he might have a penalty anyway. Be interesting to see how this plays out. McKenzie starts lap 7 with the slug and Dejoux close behind, wheel to wheel. This is the slug's chance to get around and get into a battle for the lead. And a little bit of contact with Dejoux sends him into a bit of a slide, but he goes up into P2, and why not? And he has managed, McKenzie has not managed to open up a gap here. So the slug within slipstream range, and he is looking to take what would be his fourth. This would be his 5th victory of the season if he is able to bring this one home today. After getting crashed out on the pace lap, Wiley Cox has worked his way all the way up to the back of Jeremy Bowman, trying to pass him on pace here. 16 minutes into this one, so still nearly 45 minutes to go. Joe Camilleri has pulled into the pits and called it quits. His day is done. So 6 cars out on track right now. And Bowman in the middle of the road here. He knows he's going to have to defend going into turn number 1. Where is Cox going to send it? He's got a big run down the right side of the track into turn number 1. Who's going to be the last of the late breakers? Cox just with a nose ahead and through into P4. Wiley Cox. And he is now in P4 after, there were 7 cars on the grid, so he's gained 3 spots after having to tow on the pace lap. And the slug has caught McKenzie now, and he's going to have a go at him. McKenzie will defend the inside of the track, so the slug will take the outside. And as they come to the start-finish, they are dead even. Into turn number 1, still pretty even. I think the slug is not going to be able to stay alongside there. So for now, McKenzie stays ahead, but he's under a lot of pressure. Here we go again. 19-minute mark. McKenzie choosing to defend on the right side once again. Now the slug's going to really pinch him down this time. He's going to bounce outside the last second. No, he stays down there. So they both go into the corner really shallow. McKenzie gets up on that curb. Slug now on the inside. I think he's going to get away with this. Yes, he is around McKenzie and into P1. The slug leads at Indianapolis. McKenzie has stayed close enough to maybe come back at him. Oh, there they go. All the way to the pit wall trying to break the toe. And here comes McKenzie. Where does he go? He goes out to the left. And they both go all the way back to the outside. McKenzie gets a good run around the outside, but in the mid-corner, he loses out. And Slug stays in the lead, and McKenzie loses a lot of ground to him there, and that is going to cost him. And it is strategy time. McKenzie was running about a little over a second off of the Slug, starting to lose touch. So he decides it's the middle part of the race. Let's go ahead and grab new tires and see if we can undercut and get the track position back. I think the only way he's going to be able to battle Slug for the win here is if he's able to get ahead of him again and defend from there. So we'll see what happens when Slug decides to pit. He could probably cover off McKenzie if he just comes in on the next lap. So you'll remember that McKenzie pitted on lap 18. The Slug pitting on lap 22. And he's missed his pit stall, actually. Getting a fresh set of tires. That's going to cost him a couple seconds compared to McKenzie. Let's see where McKenzie is now. He's entering the final corner. The Slug still has about 10 seconds left up on the jacks. So here's McKenzie. Oh, McKenzie's actually coming out of the final corner now. It's Wiley Cox who's ahead of him. So the Slug coming out of his pit stall now. He may stay ahead of McKenzie even with the flub. Let's see. On board with McKenzie. And you see Slug there in the distance entering turn 1. So yeah, the Slug's pace was crazy on those couple of laps. And that has allowed him to get what, 4 seconds ahead of McKenzie. So as long as he can keep it on track, I think this race is going to be done. Wiley Cox is the and JB Dejoux. JB Dejoux also logging some more laps led here as he stays out. Those are the 2 cars left to pit, and he is coming in now. And Dejoux leaving his pit stall very quickly. I think he took fuel only, no tires. It's a play for the lead into turn number 1. Here we go. The slug on the outside, Dejoux on the inside, and he's going to be able to stay in the lead, but only just as the 621 has to slide in behind. But now McKenzie's got some work to do. That's a 3.5-second gap with 22 minutes left. Can he get back past Dejoux on the fresh set of tires? The sun is setting here in Indiana. McKenzie finally catching back up to Dejoux. Dejoux held on to the slug for quite a while, so between that and his pace just being pretty good, it took McKenzie a while to actually catch him. The difference in tires clearly not that significant. McKenzie tries to go around him in turn 1. Oh, but Dejoux goes wide, slides back on track, but manages to stay out of McKenzie's car, and McKenzie goes back into P2. And now the slug has a 3.5-second lead with 13 minutes left. He's handled challenges from McKenzie, strategy calls from Dejoux. He's already won 4 races in this inaugural season. He's going to come around the final corner here as the sun sets on this race to take a 5th. The slug back in victory lane here at Indianapolis. He defeats Logan McKenzie, who comes home in P2, and JB Dejoux wraps up P3. Wiley Cox is 1 minute 20 seconds behind JB Dejoux. He will place 4th, Corbin Gardner 5th. And that wraps up what is one of the lesser known about races in ATC history. And I think it's easy to see why, with 7 cars out on track. And the other 7-car race, there is no replay for. So this is the fewest cars I think you will ever see on an ATC grid. Hopefully ever. So that wraps up another episode of ATC Rewind. We'll show you the final results, and then we will get you out here. Thank you for watching, and good night.